Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Have a money abundance mindset. And I've talked about this before. But because one of the things that's very important, now I talked about working smarter to make money this week. I've talked about having a plan to make money. But before you even get to that level, you have to have the right money abundance mindset. See, unfortunately, many people out here have a poverty consciousness. They have a poverty mindset. They'll tell, in fact, you'll have people say, well, I'm poor. And they're making decent money, but then they spend it all. And see, here's the funny thing with a poverty consciousness. You can be making six figures and have a poverty consciousness. Because there are plenty of people who are making six figures, but they live in paycheck to paycheck. Meanwhile, you get somebody making maybe half of that amount, and they have an abundance consciousness, but they got more money than they know what to do with. Seriously, it's all in how you spend your money and stuff, but it's a consciousness. What do you do with it? Like say you make it minimum wage, okay, but see, you're not spending your money on extra stuff. I know some people making minimum wage and, maybe starting out making a decent amount, but they don't have a car. But then they ain't spending money on what they're doing. Like I know a young man, he lives in the area and he doesn't have a car, but he can walk to everything he's going to do. He can walk to everything. So, that's cool. So he's saving some money. He's really saving a lot of money. I knew a guy, like, rest his soul, back in the day, and this dude was just working as a clerk at, he was working as a store clerk. But he had a lot of money. One, he was paid a lot, but he didn't have a house note to pay. He didn't have a car. But he had a lot of money, but he had an abundance mindset though. In fact, I never forget what he said, Ron, read like the Wall Street Journal. I mean, that dude was promoting. He said, always read about the economy, financial stuff. Everything else falls into place with that. I was like, okay. But he had an abundance mindset. I've met a few people, they might not have been making that much, but how they spent their money. See, the thing is, you got to think, how are you spending your money? First of all, when you have that abundance mindset, money abundance, there's plenty of money out there. See, money is currency. Money is currency. That's why they call it currency. It's an energy, because it's not so much that dollar or that coin. What it represents depends on what you're buying with it, and it's really the idea. It's really you trading it. See, but it's, a lot of people might feel like, well, I gotta have this amount of money and stuff, or, they'll have it, but they'll spend it. They not making it work for them. Like I've talked about the financial houses. Like when you see the poor, what they spend their money on, the basics, of course, but then a bunch of dumb stuff that they really don't need. That's why, like, if you're in a poor neighborhood, it's nothing to see somebody drinking or smoking or something like that. Meanwhile, if you're in a rich neighborhood, it's rare you see somebody smoking something. It's rare. In fact, they usually exercising or something like that. They're not spending their money on stuff that will take money, like cigarettes, stuff like that costs money. That's how people stay poor. In fact, that's why you get a lot of those small stores in poor neighborhoods. Supposedly poor neighborhoods. They have plenty of money, else those businesses wouldn't be there. But see, they have a poverty consciousness. One thing about a poverty consciousness that people do is they spend their money, they just spend their money. People with a money abundance consciousness, they'll use their money to make more money. That's what the rich and the wealthy do. They will use the fund, they will put their money into income producing assets one way or the other. Investments, stuff like that. Businesses, they'll put it into a business. They could be working a full-time job, making a lot of money, but then they'll have a business to make even more money and they'll work smart to make it, But you gotta have that consciousness, because if you have a consciousness where you thinking there's not enough money around, there's not going to be money because you're not going to do what it takes. See, when you have a money abundance consciousness, you're going to do what it takes to actually make that money. Because you're going to look at it like there's money around, I just got to get it in my pockets. You just got to get it. There's plenty of people, like when I'm looking at business. In fact, let me use this example. Y'all notice I'm not big on saying, oh, you got to like, share, and subscribe on here or any of my channels. You notice I don't do that. That's because I'm still getting, I figure, hey, there's so many people out there, all I have to do is keep going. The people going to subscribe anyway. You know, I'm still going to make my little AdSense money. Well, I shouldn't say little. My AdSense money, which, let's just say, I could live just off of that, just off my AdSense money. But that's because I realize there's plenty of people to watch my videos on here. You know, there's an abundance. There's not, I don't have to fight anybody. There's room enough for everybody because there's so much money floating around. Because what do I say? It's an idea. And you want to have that mindset like there's always money. There's plenty of money around. I don't care if they say recession, what they think is going on. Because even during major recessions, there's always somebody making money. During the last Great Recession, I actually made more money. That's because I realized the money was there. Because it's always businesses, people still want products. There's always jobs. You know, when you realize that, it's like, oh, you can always make money. Then it's a matter of how do I spend the money, you know? Because money-wise, I got a lot of money in my savings. I don't buy a bunch of stuff I don't need, you know? But I have that money abundance mindset, like there's plenty of money, you know? I see it like a big sea of, think of it like a big river. And think of it like, yeah, this river is so big and I have a house to the side, right? You have a house to the side. All you doing is you getting some of that river. You directing some of that river to your house. You know, you digging a ditch and everything. That's how you gotta look at it for money. It was like, okay, there's plenty of money out here. What can you do to get that money? Once you start thinking that, once you start having a plan, not the dream, the plan to have it, you start opening up the doors to get that money. Because you start thinking, okay, what am I talented in? What can I do? Where am I at? All of a sudden it's like, oh, I can make money this way. Because even with like the multiple like platforms I have, I'm always thinking, okay, what can I do to bring in money? See, you got to think that way. There's plenty of money out there, but you got to have a mindset. But unfortunately, you have a lot of people, they have a mindset of, oh, there isn't enough money out there. Oh, I don't have it or something. It's like, hold up, stop. There's plenty of it floating around. Like so much so everybody, really, even with poverty, people don't have to be poor. It's a mindset. So anyway, I want y'all to think about that. Always have that money abundance. Before you even can really get into business, career, anything, you gotta think there's plenty of money floating around. What can you do to get it, all right? So anyway, that's all I have for today. I'll get back with y'all Sunday, all right? Peace and blessings.